Hey fam! Welcome back to my channel. As always, my name is Joy. And in this video, I have another prophetic word. But before I jump into the message, I do just want to take a quick moment to welcome all my new subscribers. Welcome to the family. Thank you to my loyal subscribers. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I am greatly honored and humbled. Now, I actually heard this prophetic word when I was recording my last video, which was posted on Sunday. And if you've watched that video, you probably heard me say these words. And I just heard, call those things that are not as though they were, right? I didn't think anything of it. But later on that day when I was spending time with God, those same words played in my head. And I heard, call those things that are not as though they are, right? And then God started downloading the scriptures and the word into my spirit. So I knew I needed to come and release this message. It is part of our Move in Faith series. So if you haven't watched the other videos, I'm gonna link them in the description box. Go ahead and watch those other videos. So the first scripture that I got is Romans 4 verse 17. As it is written, I have made you a father of many nations, in the presence of him who he believed, God, who gives life to the dead and calls those things which do not exist as though they are, right? So when I started reading that, it really spoke to my spirit. And God was saying, we need to start moving in faith and start calling those things that we think are not as though they are, right? So if you're sick, you need to start declaring, I am well. If you're in pain, you need to start declaring, I am healed. The pain is gone, right? If you're believing for a husband, you need to start declaring, I am a wife, right? You need to start living it out. You need to start moving in faith, right? So God started talking to me about Abraham, and I read a few things in Romans, and Romans 4, 2, 3, and 5, I'm going to read those, right? It says, if his good deeds made him acceptable to God, he would have had something to boast about. But that was not God's way. For the scriptures tell us, Abraham believed, and God counted him as righteous because of his faith. Verse 5, but people are counted as righteous, not because of their work, but because of their faith in God who forgives sin, right? We all want to be counted as righteous. We all want to be, for God to say, you know, that's my person. That's a man after my heart. God is saying your hard work is not what's going to count you as righteous in his eyes. It is your faith in him, right? If you continue reading on in this scripture, I think verse 18, it says, Abraham hoped even when there was no sign that Isaac could be born. Even when he thought about his body was dead. He was like 100 years old. He considered that his wife's womb was dead as well. She was older. She was in her 90s, right? But he considered not. He just held on to the faith. He just believed that God would go ahead and do what God had said. And God had said he was going to make him the father of many nations. And God did exactly that. God called him the father of many nations. But then God also identified Abraham as a man of faith because he considered not the obstacles that were ahead of him. I know it looks dark to you, right? You're like, God, I don't know how I'm going to get this position. I don't know how I'm going to get this job. And guess what? God is saying it is not by your hard work, but it is by your faith, right? So I got this equation for faith. And the equation that I got is faith equals action plus obedience, right? That's what faith is, right? So God has been saying you need to move in faith. You need to move in faith. And part of you moving in faith is you submitting that application, right? Part of you moving in faith is you going on that interview. Part of you moving in faith is going to see the doctor about that body issue you're having. Part of you moving in faith is getting to know your husband again, right? But the obedience part of it right now, God is saying you've done your action part. Can you just believe? Can you just let me handle the rest? Let me handle the rest. You've done your part. The obedience that God is looking for you right now is for you to believe that He is able to make it come to pass. Start calling those things that are not as though they are, right? Man, start waking up in the morning and dressing up as though you're about to go to that job, right? Start preparing that nursery for your baby that's about to come, right? Learn how to cook, right? Start calling those things that are not as though they are. Start living as a wife. Start living as a husband. Start living as somebody who's employed. Start living as an entrepreneur, right? Start living and calling those things that are not as though they are. God is saying you need to have faith. You need to believe, even when it seems like it's impossible, even when it seems like it's not going to happen, even when it seems like you're at the end of the road. That's the best part for you to be, because now God can pick up and finish what He started. As always, He loves you. I love you. Be blessed.